Good midday to you. Not morning, not afternoon. It's midday in the UK, and it snowed, which is wonderful. Darren is also here. I'll introduce him in a minute. Let's do some headlines. So, straight away, Trump under pressure over Capitol riot. Democrats call for the president's removal as a police officer becomes the fifth victim of the violence in the US. Travellers to UK will need to show negative test. International travellers will have to take a COVID test up to 72 hours before departing. And there's a hunt for a vaccine fraudster who injected a woman of 92. The man charged the 92-year-old £160 and came back a week later asking for a further £100. And women on exercise trip surrounded by police. It's just a great headline. The two women were given a £200 fixed penalty notice after driving 5 miles to go for a walk. And there is a picture of them, which I'll show in a bit. And it's got a couple of Costa cups, which I can guarantee will have a little bit of alcohol in there. Morning, Darren. Oh, you're on mute. Oh, sorry, there we go. Brilliant. Hello, how are you?
Yes, all good, thank you. All good. Glad it's Friday.
Yes, I am sort of glad it's Friday. Yeah, that's all I'm going to say on it.
I don't know if you felt this, Matt. Normally, when you're doing nothing, work is manic, but nevertheless, being at home all the time, the weeks of just zooming by. You think with lockdown and everything else that's going on, it'd go slow, but I haven't. No. It's not Christmas. I just don't know what day it is anyway, generally.
Well, I think we'll get to the point where we won't know what month it is. That's the thing.
That's right.
I mean, absolutely. Yeah, I agree with you fully that it is like you're just in a time void, really. Hello, Mark. How are you?
Hi, Mark. Yeah, good. I've just been blessed sparring with my 14-year-old son between lessons.
Okay.
I stepped on his toe. So it was like disadvantage. I don't know.
Was that? Did you step on it purposely, or was it an accident?
I think it was an accident. But,
you think it was an accident?
He just had to go on his class charts with his toes quite sore, and I'm like, yeah, well, man up. I got you on a hook.
That's fair.
Matt, can you just say that you're in mono? Sorry, you might want to pan yourself to the centre on your microphone.
Oh, no. Why is that then? That's weird.
No,
Let me just.
It's okay. You're in my left ear, but it's anybody who hasn't got a left ear might just see you miming.
Audio, stereo. Oh, okay then. How about that?
There you are. That's better.
I know why, because I'm on one leg on the digital audio thing.
Oh my God! Is this you showing off with that Mac Pro again?
No. It's not that. It's I have a digital, because this is you want to get techie for a second, and you know me, I like to talk about tech. So this is a standard audio mic that then goes into a digital audio interface that then allows the audio from here to go into the box and then plug into your Mac. But it's actually a stereo one. I've only got one leg, or one side. Sorry, that's technical as well.
Yeah. You know what? I think I fell asleep.
You fell asleep. Yeah, I thought you would. Can I say I'm talking about this at the end, but I was, as some of you know, because I was talking about it online last night, that I was watching the Graham Norton show, the live recording of it last night. I was in the digital audience, which was great fun, and it was nice. It was 2-hour show, and boy, there's a lot of editing that goes on, but there is so many errors. I was going to say cock-ups. I suppose I can say, but there's so many technical issues all the way through that even the BBC get all these issues, but they're just edited out. We're just live, and we just carry on like
absolutely.
Imagine that. We say both bars all the time.
Yeah, it's fine. Well, I'm going to talk about the Norton thing in a bit, but the main thing I want to talk about today is travel, because at last Andy Moore will be really happy, because we are now testing people who come in, from next week, testing people who are coming to the country for COVID. And they have to have a little, like a test certificate to say that they're passed and they're allowed to come in, and which is brilliant. But straight away this morning, the normal idiots who are out there are trying to pick it apart, trying to find errors in there, asking stupid questions like, well, what if I can't get a COVID test? Well, you don't bloody come back into the country then, do you? It's quite simple. It's simple.
So how does that work then, Matt? Because I haven't seen this. So if, say, you go to Fuerteventura for 2 weeks and you come back, you've got to have a COVID test on the way back.
No, you have to have a test 72 hours before you're allowed back in.
So you've got to find somewhere in Fuerteventura that will give you a test.
That's right.
Wow.
So now, unfortunately, that means people have got to work this out for themselves. I know it's a terrible thing, and we haven't got the government to hold the hands. But if you're big enough and brave enough to go on holiday, or if you're going out for work as well, and you've got to come back, then you just got to organise yourself a little bit better and get a test. Stop. It was all over the BBC this morning. Just stupid questions are asked. Well, you know, what about if I am found positive? Does that mean I can come back? Well, no, it doesn't mean that. Are these people insane?
Well, again, it's a good point, though, because if you are on holiday and it's 72 hours before you come back, then you've got to book more time in that hotel.
That's correct. Yes,
at your own expense.
Yeah, to your own expense. Well, you've taken the risk to go out there because at the moment,
this is what they're saying. So you can take the risk or holiday when you can in the UK. All about the UK economy again. Yeah, I
love it. I'm really happy because obviously opening up 2 more Segway tour sites, this just means less people are going to go abroad and have more money to spend in the UK.
But they're not supposed to be travelling anyway.
Yeah,
the government says you're not supposed to have international travel.
Is this just in lockdown? Sorry. So after lockdown, that rule's going to change.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure about that. I'm not sure, but it's coming next week.
As we discussed the other day, you know, the whole balance and checks, the rule of law, all of this will be judged when all this is over. But let's take it from now. If they've got it through the House of Commons, if they've got it through as some legislation, temporary or not, it'll be here for when we do get out of lockdown and start travelling again.
Well, that's true. But this should have come in months ago, and it would have made things a lot easier for everybody to travel. And also, it would have probably stopped the strain, this weird strain that came in, that was obviously brought in. I'm not sure if it was, you know, by the train, the tunnel, or a boat, or a plane.
It was interesting because the argument was, and we saw this in, you know, just possibly around the Christmas time, is everyone was up in arms and shutting borders to the UK, saying we got this strain and we were the culprits. But as my wife pointed out, Italy, Spain, and France all had this particular escalation of the virus just after the summer. So, you know, it is going to go around, isn't it? So we didn't start this any more than, I suppose, the Chinese started the COVID in the first place.
Well, I don't think anybody really knows where the strain came from, because obviously all viruses transform themselves, mutate. So, and they've also said this morning that I was up very early watching news this morning. So, Pfizer vaccine and the Oxford vaccine they've said is fine for the new variants. It will deal with that as well. So that's good.
To get you quickly, is that what you're saying?
Say again, sorry?
Get a jab.
Well, we do need those jabs. We do need those jabs very, very quickly. I don't know what anybody's thoughts on that. I know we were talking about business today, but...
No, I just, while we're on COVID, I just want to ask one question, which is an interesting one I saw on social media. I've said it a few times. I've got no allegiance to any sort of political party. I vote sort of who's the least worst, but nevertheless, I think they're all a shower. But someone put on there was 1,000 deaths the other day, and someone put on social media that after all this is done, Boris and his clan should be trialed for mass manslaughter or something along them lines. And
really,
but I'm thinking again, for me, I wouldn't want to be in that position of making any of them decisions, because there's no right decision. Because I'm sure that all the cancer patients that can't get in, if he had gone into lockdown, would also have a case, and so there's no right answer. But it just makes me wonder, when you look at the Blair thing, when he was tried for the war and all that good stuff, you just wonder if there is going to be any fallout for wrong decisions made. And I get so frustrated by this. You imagine a doctor that has his patients for the day and he's got 100 patients, but he knows he can only work on 20, and he has to make that decision who he can work on, who might not make it that day and who will make it that day. And I've actually been first hand at this with my mother, and it was the most horrendous thing. And the person who dealt with it at the time was just so un-PC. It's something that will live with me forever. But afterwards, in reflection, I recognised the position that sort of doctor was in. And who wants to make them decisions? And can you really hold them accountable for them? I don't think so. Not to that degree, personally.
I don't. I think that level, and I've thought about this because of obviously Tina working in the school, and she's back in there again now, and it's not anyone's fault. She's looking after the key workers, and originally in the original lockdown, in lockdown 1, it was like there was a handful of children that came in because they were the real key workers, the NHS staff, the police, all that type of thing, and also that it was. I think Mark talked about this before, where you'd have to have 2 key workers in the family to get the child into school. But they've changed all this now. And before, she was going in once a week virtually for a day, and they rotated the school, the teachers and the TAs. But now there's no teachers in; they're all doing online. But there's more key worker children in the school, and virtually every classroom is now taken in their own bubbles. So she's actually looking after 20 kids, just her, every single day. And that's the same as they've got to be 200, 300 kids in the school now, which is
I smile because what you've just said echoes with something, Matt. I smile because aren't the TAs going in, but the teachers aren't?
That's correct.
Yeah, obviously the TAs are much further down the pecking order. You're all right. You go get COVID, but no, it's all right.
No. Well,
I know somebody else in that situation.
I wasn't going to go into the cannon fodder situation, which we've had that discussion. The teachers are I understand the teachers have to be at home as such because they're doing all the online prep and doing the actual online shows. I was going to say, but the online education. So, but they're educating the kids who are sat in the school from their home, and also the rest of the school they're educating. So that is clever, and that's a good way of doing it. So they do still need TAs or the teachers in the school, but it was. I'm not sure if I'm speaking out of turn. I'm not sure if I'm supposed to say this because obviously I have inside knowledge, but I'm going to say it anyway. We think for next week the teachers are actually going to go back in because there's so many people who are kicking up for saying that they are their children or their key workers and they need their children in there. The school will need virtually all the teachers' staff in to look after the amount of children who are supposedly key worker children.
It's interesting that because that is what would seem to be an isolated, situation, but not so isolated in as much as I'd heard, like you, like your wife, bless her, who's doing an amazing job going in and supporting people so they're key, so key workers.
Yeah, which I haven't got a problem with.
Yeah, absolutely. And my point is I've heard this in Birmingham. Now down in Gloucestershire, where my girls are going in at the moment, because my wife's a key worker police officer, and we want and we fought long and hard with this. I got my son at home working from home, but to have 3 of them, I wouldn't be able to do work, and that'd be it type thing.
Yeah.
But my point is, most people down here have taken a decision to work with the rules that are there and not overburden. I've even had. Or rather, there's been teachers who have even not sent their kids because they are part-time and only going twice per week. And rather than send their kids in to a key worker space, they've arranged with their husbands or wives to do that. And what my point is it's difficult, isn't it? Because this whole situation, especially with primary schools, they've made this decision. I think secondary schools are a little bit different because they're a bit older. They've got this time around, they've got the system right, online learning, it's going on, all the rest of it. I have so many arguments with my son sometimes. And I just go, hang on, why aren't you doing anything? He's like, well, they haven't turned up, or it's a 15-minute break. And you got to think, well, they won't be doing 7-8 hours video. Even I couldn't do 7 or 8 hours of video.
No.
You've got to give them a break type thing. So yeah, my point is, it must be very difficult for you, Matt, and all the teachers in bigger cities such as Birmingham, because there's more obviously of key workers there and more status that you're a key worker.
Well, it is.
And more risk.
Yeah,
Yeah, there is
massive.
more risk. A message has just come through. They've asked me not to say who they are, so I won't. But they're saying.
I thought he was going to say their names then.
No.
But Mark, Jane, and Fred said.
Mr. X said that next week in the school he's in, the teachers are being recalled because of the amount of key worker children that are coming in.
I think also there's an element of people in the first tranche that were just didn't want to take that risk, and regardless of key worker, they found a way around it or whatever else because they were just so scared. I think we are slowly becoming acclimatized to COVID, and this time you'll probably find more people have gone in because they are key workers, or they're actually not so scared or worried, and they've just had enough of their kids, dude. Let's face it. Get back into school.
Well, that is true, but it still defeats the object of what the whole lockdown is.
Yeah,
and yet again, I went out. I had to go out yesterday and pick something up. Roads are really busy. I was told that the buses and trains are quiet, but all the roads are busy. Where are these people going?
So you're one of these basket watchers, aren't you? There was someone on the social medias yesterday who was like,
shopping.
Is essential shopping just 2 items? Who's looking in my basket to see if I've got 2 items? And who's to say that vodka and Coke isn't essential items?
Yeah.
But,
What shops do you go to? Oh, Coca-Cola. Sorry, yeah.
I'm getting that. I mean, I haven't really left the house. I'm doing my exercise once a day.
Yes, we know, Mark. We see it.
Yeah, thanks. And then when I have to pick the girls up from school, we have to wear a mask and obviously distancing, and you do a bit of fresh air with them for about half an hour afterwards, and that's it. So yeah, I think you're right, Matt. I don't know, but I have seen, like you say, Darren, I have seen 1 or 2 shops open, like a phone shop. I've damaged my phone, and phone shop was open, which was phone shop was open.
The laws have come in a little bit grey, haven't they? Well, the essential shop now is a little bit more grey than it used to be. So.
Well, I mean, the phone shops, I suppose they could be essential because the people have to communicate, so you could get around that.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I think people are looking more for them loopholes, aren't there? There's plenty of them.
Oh, all the time.
But it's funny, that sort of mentality, that watching basket mentality. One of my first holidays abroad, as such, if you can call it abroad, was to Jersey. And it was fantastic going in the bunkers and reading the letters of people in Jersey who were grassing up their other friends because the Germans took their inner tubes off them and took their tyres off their bikes and things like that, so they couldn't use bikes, and saying, oh, such and such in house number 33 has got an inner tube, I've seen it. And it's amazing, that mentality now is starting to, it's Second World War grassing up mentality. It's bizarre to see.
I've said that from day one, that when we're becoming a nation of tittle tattle. My wife is a police officer. I can't really go too much, but they down in Gloucestershire had so many calls to people saying they're having a party next door.
Yeah.
This is before the full lockdown. This was like when you could have so many people in the garden scenario type thing, and their approach was, look, if we got manpower, we're going to tell them to. It's not acceptable. You're going to move. Just a warning, really. It was an element of engage first, communicate, and disperse, rather than go in with the heavy boots and say, right, you're arrested. But I do know, obviously, there's been cases of people having raves, even pop stars or whatever having birthday parties and apologizing.
Rihanna. No, it wasn't Rihanna. Well, who was the British one?
Oh, not Rihanna. No. On the Masked Singer.
That's it. Yeah.
I can't remember her name.
You wouldn't think we're both in music, would you, Matt? But
no, it's unbelievable, isn't it? And also, it just suddenly it just looks three old blokes trying to work out whose a singer name is. It's it's that woman with the hair.
Absolutely, yeah.
So just going back to the key workers for a second, because there's the new list has been updated for key workers and children and whatever. Do we class bank managers and accountants as key workers?
Well, maybe they work.
I think,
They
I think,
are.
I
They
think
are
there's
on
a
the
different
list.
word in the W. I don't think it's key workers, but yeah. But yeah,
Because
I'm not sure.
surely that's one of the jobs you can do from home, because everything is online. You know,
Right.
banking is
Absolutely.
online,
You
and
can
they,
give that money easy enough, don't you? Oh no, they
well, you
don't.
can do. No
I
one
mean,
deals with
show me
cash
a bank that's
anymore.
open. There's no banks open anyway. I can't believe there's a
Exactly.
bank manager. That's a
So
building to
why
go
are they
to.
on the list? Why are they
No,
on the list?
because they're on every list, aren't
Just talking about money, the government apparently
Yes, you owe me a tenner.
they?
the chancellor is in discussions with another funding round for small businesses. Yeah, apparently, it's just so. I haven't seen the official guidelines, but small businesses that have fallen between the cracks, I like mostly businesses like ourselves, not so much sole traders, but business owners or limited companies who have lost business through trade because of so COVID issue and are finding ways of funding us now. That's interesting. I don't know where
Well,
that is in.
well, I mean, if it's as bad as the debacle of the bounce back loans and everything, I don't know. I mean, the most successful thing they've done is obviously the self-employed scheme, the repayment scheme. But even then, people are falling through the cracks on that one because
Well,
you know,
that's what I'm saying. This is not a self-employed because what it is, I don't know what status. Well, actually, I do know what status you are. You're kind of in between as well, but you've also got a
yeah.
job type thing. Yeah. Look at you. No, but people like myself, who I'm a limited company, I'm a director of a limited company. I'm not self-employed, but I'm also not on PAYE because I am now, but I wasn't originally. I was on.
How do you pay yourself?
Well, I don't pay myself. I effectively take, any dividends
Director's bonus.
bonus.
So that's still taxable, though, isn't it?
Of course. And I tell the tax man about that, but ultimately it's a very low amount that I'm doing up until now.
Oh, yeah.
But obviously I put myself on the payroll back in November, but because I wasn't on it originally, and I couldn't do this because you can't be furloughed and do that. So what they're looking,
right.
my understanding is what turnover, how it's affect your business and how you've lost business to help you and pay up to 80% of what your turnover was as a small business. Now, most would indicate, well, that's great because most small businesses wouldn't be turning over £400,000-500,000, a month or a year or whatever, and it is in that low brackets, and hence why the government can find this fund for it.
Well, that's fair enough, and it's good to fill out these cracks and what the people have fallen through. But I just feel every single thing you hear something, you say, "Oh, there's a grant you can apply for." Oh, brilliant! Okay, great. And you go and try and I know Darren's done some grants, but you go and apply for it. No, sorry, you can't do that. You haven't got 10 employees, or you're not doing this, or you haven't danced through some hoops in October with one shirt sleeve tie behind your back, or something ridiculous, And it's just any which way but loose to not allow you to get the money. But all they like is talking about it and saying, "Oh yeah, we've offered this, we've offered that," and it's not there.
So
The criteria was really strange. We had one grant, which was the criteria had to be a shared premises. And all it was is that we're at an equestrian centre and we have containers at this equestrian centre. So we got a grant and that's all we had to say. We didn't have to do any proof, obviously, whatever else. Obviously, that's where the address of the tours are. But because it's an equestrian centre and we're there, we got the grant. Because we got another site down in Cornwall that isn't that, didn't get the grant. It's just, you're thinking, but it's the same need. Just because we've got a shared premise, it's just such a strange criteria. So,
well, I mean, the self-employed grant, which is the only thing I've applied for. It's the only thing. I couldn't get anything else. Couldn't get anything else because I don't have premises. I work from home. And all I've got is a self-employed grant. And I've been self-employed since I was 16. So. I am officially properly self-employed, but you have dips and troughs and and highs and lows and all that. But because it takes a 3-year average, I was building up a new business at that point, obviously Social Command, and so yes, it was lower, and this year's better, but they've sort of took that average and they've sort of, hey, there's some money for you, and I'm going, okay, great, but that's not where I am now. That was where I was 3 years ago. What do I do here now? And
Sorry,
that's
are you bleating to the people out there, the thousands, if not millions, who fell through that cracks, who've had nothing? Are you really bleating?
yeah, I am.
I'm more picked up on the fact that he had dips and troughs. He didn't even have any peaks. They were both dips and troughs. So it's not been good.
That's what it's like when you start a business. Come on, you know it's all dips. It's all dips. There's no highs at the start. But no, it's yeah. So our worst people who've had nothing. But then you get all the frigging idiots who've had your bounce back loans and the other loans who have just, they've pressed the button and it's gone straight in, and they've done some dodgy. I want to know how all these people who have defrauded the bounce back, how have they done that? I don't understand. Because I've tried. No, I haven't. But
I think it's where you are as well. I think because I think each council as well, with some of these loans, are very much regional based, aren't they?
Oh,
and they make such a difference. We had a 3K1 of one of our sites, but the difference that will make to opening up when we can open hopefully in March, it gives us such a buffer and takes away so much stress, because we would have taken money up to that point that we haven't taken that would have given us that buffer. And we really utilise it for the right reason. But you are right. There's so many people out there who just go and press the button and manage to walk away with money.
Yeah. We'll have 50 grand.
I just want to touch on that briefly. You're opening up hopefully in March, and, segues, and I'm just thinking where am I going? I'm going towards Devon. Are you doing a taster?
Mate, it's free to anybody on here, mate, so we know where you're going. It is a real challenge.
I wouldn't mind, but he hasn't even spoke to me about any marketing. He's sort of briefly talked about it months back, then nothing.
No point in marketing, mate. We've got a captive audience. What's the point of marketing?
And there's your error, because when it falls over, you'll be going, oh, we should have advertised it. The people who say, oh yeah, I'm making enough money, well, that's rubbish.
Not making any money.
Well, there you go.
But this is our problem: is that we've got new sites that are to open. So we've got a new site down in South Devon, and we've got a new site that's been negotiated in St Ives, down in Deep Cornwall. And we can't get there to do some of the setups and whatever else. We can't, even the site we've got up in North Devon, we can't get up there we've got containers sitting there that are costing me money, and I need to go up really and get rid of one and whatever else. But it's handcuffing us to progress.
Frustrates me. I'm sitting here, and he's now telling me that this year in St Ives, I did a holiday last year in St Ives.
So how many sites do you have, Darren? How many sites do you
have? There'll be 3 this year. Well, the 4 with Bude, but Bude's a partner site. So yeah, there'll be 4 sites this year. But we're trying to expand as quick as possible, because we've got a monopoly on obviously the devices. And also all these other Segway operators are struggling now because they've got the Segway no longer make them. So what they're trying to do is discredit our device, which is hilarious, really. But so we're trying to realistically open up as many sites as possible. So I'm hoping within the next 2 years to have at least 10 sites spread around the Southwest.
I've got a contact who's developing the new Cotswold outlet centre in Tewkesbury. And they're talking 106 money to go for the minibus to town. Maybe you could be saying, well, we'll have segways there and get the cycle path, and you can all go down on the segway.
Yeah, unfortunately, we're still under the legalities of scooters, so they can't go on any cycle paths at the moment.
Oh, I tell you what,
really?
That's interesting, isn't it? Because I go off on a tangent. It's like, but my wife was talking as a police officer. They got a referral because these scooters are a nightmare. They come out on the road. And people obviously using them, haven't got a clue how they're using them. And then cars, they just come straight out at you, and it's illegal to be on the road. And the police are now involved.
Here's a question for you, and I'm going to have a bit of a rant now. We have a gentleman who I'm not going to say too much, but he's got one of these little motors, like a wheelchair with 4 wheels on it, motorized mobility scooter. Right now, I've got nothing wrong if you're ill and you're old, and that's fine, and they can get you around. But he insists on driving it on the road. Are you allowed to drive them on the road?
I think you are. Yeah.
He's got no number plates.
No, it's a strange law. Yeah,
he's a monk. Doesn't give a monkey's arse about where he's driving.
Yeah, he's got reflector lights on there, what's it?
He's got more. He's got more mirrors on it than a mod with his scooter in the
His
60s.
Vespa,
In his Vespa, he's got all the but he doesn't give a monkeys. Just drives
Yeah.
around.
I think they're lethal. I do. I think they're a bigger menace than these scooter issues that were
And
going
he's
on.
right in the middle of the road. Right in the middle of the road.
Can I
5 miles an hour.
on that for a minute? Bless my 74-year-old mother has got one.
She doesn't
She-
even run in.
when you get to my age, you can get one of them. Take my eyes, you try and get me on one of them. I want to be fit. What the hell? I mean, like riding around and then forget it. That's when you really are struggling if you have to get in one of them to go to shops.
Get
But when he
into
hops out the other end, he's running around
Yeah,
Sainsbury's then.
I've seen him. It's like the Harry Enfield sketch, isn't it?
But he drives into the shop and he just doesn't care. Oh,
Brilliant.
I don't know
There's
what's
some
wrong
great
with me today.
videos
I
of
do
them
apologise.
crashing. They really are. But going back to the scooters, it's a 6 points.
Oh yeah, sorry. Let's do a bit
your
more sound for
license,
the
and
scooters.
it's a fine, £300 fine and 6 points on your license if you're caught on a electric scooter on the pavement or on the road. Only because we have a very friendly policeman who doesn't particularly like one of my employees who's pointed it out to him about the segways as well, because it's a vehicle as such.
You can't go on pavements or roads. Where do you send yours in?
Well, we always have a private site, so the holiday parks, so they're all tour sites. So you'll go round an off-road site. So that's the whole idea, because ours are off-road vehicles. It tends to be more of an experience than anything else. But yeah, you can't go off-road. But yeah, they are, and I have one myself, and they are. I have an electric scooter myself, and it is lethal. It's absolutely, only just 15 miles an hour. But it is the scariest thing I've ever ridden.
That's quite fast when you're that low to the ground.
Well, it's just the twitchiness. All it is because it's got such tiny little wheels that they are so twitchy and they are so easy to fall off. A Segway have massive wheels, and I've had a 200-mile-an-hour motorbike, and this thing scares me more than that. It's just it's a strange.
You're not a good driver anyway.
No.
I will message you close the time down because we're going down.
Yeah, let me know, mate.
Swanage, I think that's North Devon, isn't it?
Not till after April.
Yeah, of course after April. What's up there?
Swanage is North Devon. No idea what Swanage is.
I thought it was North Devon.
Swanage is not in Devon, is it?
No.
Anyway, yeah.
We'll open the site there just for you, mate. Don't worry.
Yeah, please.
Open one in Gloucester for you.
I think close to there. I mean, close could be close to anything,
Absolutely, yeah.
Could be at the moment.
Where you're based, and I'll just see if I can come down that way.
Get a holiday, yeah, no problem.
Yeah.
That's the general idea. Anyway, that is it. Darren, what are you up to for the weekend?
Weekend? Oh, you know what? I have absolutely no idea. I don't even know it was the weekend. I'm just so confused about life at the moment. So it's just stacking wood from a wood burner. There we go.
Because I've had a wood burner fitted over the Christmas period. Amazing.
I look at his
amazing.
Yeah, I love them.
Just brilliant. You do go through a lot of wood though, don't you?
You got to get the right wood, Matt. We'll have a chat about the right wood.
No, a kiln dried.
No, you got to have hardwood. You can't have mixed. If you have mixed, some of that soft wood will just go as soon as you put it in there. It's like kindling.
Well, no. Yes, I understand that. My wife's a forest school leader. She knows all about.
Fair enough. Yeah,
it's fine. But it's all I was told is make sure it's dried because it'll mess up the inside of the chimney. So I don't know. Yeah. Anyway, it's great, wonderful. Mark, what are you doing?
Well, I wanted to go on my bike, my road bike. It was supposed to be sunny, but I think we're going to get snow now. So
no, you'll be all right tomorrow. It's we had a load of snow last night. It's all gone now though. Yeah, tons of it. Hang on a minute. I can just go to swap over to the swap over to the snow cam. Here we go. There we go. But it's all gone now. It has all gone. We had loads of it this morning.
That's not snow, is it, darling?
That's snow. That is. It was snow.
I've seen more dandruff than
that. It was snow. So don't forget, watch Graham Norton tonight at 10:30. Is
that the one you're on?
I'm on that one. It's on tonight.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
So they recorded it last night and they edited it all out. Now that we are on a screen, and they show all the audience sat there at home with the laptops in front of them. But my dog kept getting in the way of the screen, so you'll see the dog more than us, which is quite funny. And also when we were, because you have to clap and whoop and do all that. To, you know what the audiences are like. Yay! Anyway, when you're doing that, the dog started barking as well. So the audio, you should be able to hear the dogs barking. But great show. Jimmy Fallon was on from the States. The one for the Queen's Gambit is, if you watch that on Netflix, that's
I watched that.
she's on there. And Mitchell and Webb, one of those. I can't remember which one it was. Anyway, it's a good show. 2 hours and it's 40 minutes. So, and also at 7 o'clock tonight, obviously, the house party returns. The lockdown house party returns at 7 o'clock. There we go.
Yeah, really.
Cool.
Yay. Brilliant. All right, gentlemen, have a wonderful weekend.
Have a good weekend, both.
Yeah, definitely.
And we did get to some business at the end there. So that
We did.
20 minutes of COVID and 10 minutes of business.
Absolutely.
Excellent. Okay, have a good weekend, and we will
Cheers,
see
both.
you. I'm just trying to get the jingle. So we'll see you on Monday at 12 o'clock. Bye-bye.
Cheers.